1. Clara's Hope Clara. Hensley, a 28-year-old seamstress, feels trapped in a small Kansas town where women are valued only for their slender waists and docile smiles. She is tall, full-figured, and strong-handed from years of work. After her father's death and years of loneliness, she sees an ad in the Kansas Frontier Gazette. Lumberjack seeking wife of character and good nature. Must not fear work or wilderness. Write to Thomas Hale, Pine Hollow, Oregon. His words strike a chord. Honest, practical, kind. She writes him a letter describing her cooking, sewing, and steady nature, omitting mention of her size but including a small photograph. The letter's over weeks, Thomas writes back. His letters are short but full of simple sincerity. He calls her Miss Hensley and writes, "A good heart and willing hands are better than a painted face." His tone gives her courage. They exchange 6 letters. He finally sends money for a train ticket west. Clara feels for the first time that someone might truly want her. The journey Clara travels by train through prairies and mountains, marveling at the wilderness. Along the way, she meets 2 other mail-order brides, both nervous. One tells her of women who were rejected upon arrival. Clara laughs it off but keeps the fear inside. She clutches Thomas's last letter, promising, "I'll be waiting by the Pine Hollow platform." The rejection. When she arrives, Thomas is there, a strong, clean-shaven man in his 30s. But when he sees her, his expression hardens. "You're not quite what I expected." His tone chills her. Men behind him whisper and chuckle. "You didn't say you were bigger," he mutters. Clara, humiliated, says softly, "The letters said you wanted a woman of strength." He shrugs. "Not that kind of strength." He leaves her standing on the platform as rain begins to fall. Her dream crumbles. The decision, Clara spends the night in a small inn run by a widow, Mrs. Dalton, who gives her tea and warmth. Instead of returning home, Clara decides to stay. "If no one wants me, I'll make my own place here." That same night, she sees a group of lumberjacks hauling timber through the street. One of them, a quiet man with kind eyes named Eli Carter, notices her tear-streaked face through the window. He doesn't speak, but he remembers her. 1. Finding work. The next morning, Clara learns the lumber camp's cook recently left. Mrs. Dalton encourages her to apply. They'll eat anything if it's hot. Clara spends her last coins on flour, salt and stew meat to make a meal sample for the foreman. At the camp, the men stare, some smirking. But one man, the same kind-eyed lumberjack Eli, and tastes her food first. "Best stew I've had in years," he says. The foreman hires her on the spot. Clara begins working as the camp cook. Meeting Eli introduces himself properly. He's a 32-year-old logger, quiet and broad-shouldered with a limp from an old accident. Unlike the others, he never mocks or stares. He thanks her every meal. Slowly, she learns he reads books in his spare time, something unusual for a logger. Clara, though cautious, begins smiling again. They exchange small talk, her laughter softening the rough dining hall. Gossip and growth rumors spread. The rejected bride cooks our beans now. Some men tease her, others grow fond of her. Clara holds her ground, her dignity and kindness winning quiet respect. Eli steps in once when another worker jokes crudely, saying, "Mind your tongue. She feeds us better than anyone's mother ever did." Grateful, Clara begins to notice his steady presence. When she burns her hand one morning, Eli wraps it carefully without a word. "Can't lose our best cook," he murmurs. That small act plants something in both hearts. Eli's Pastelli was once engaged. His fiancée left him after his injury, saying she couldn't marry a broken man. Since then, he's worked and lived quietly, never expecting love. But Clara's laughter and resilience remind him what warmth feels like. He begins carving small wooden figures for her, simple gifts left by the stove when she isn't looking. Quiet understanding. One night during a storm, Clara finds him fixing a roof beam alone. She helps hold the lantern and says softly, "You shouldn't do this alone," he replies. "Neither should you." Their eyes meet, 2 people who've known rejection but found gentleness in each other's silence. Weeks pass. Clara and Eli's friendship deepens. He helps her carry firewood. She mends his torn shirts. Their rhythm becomes natural, though neither speaks of feelings. But when Thomas Hale, the man who rejected her, returns to the camp to collect supplies. He's shocked to see Clara there, confident, smiling, respected. He sneers, "Didn't think you'd stay, Miss Hensley." Eli steps in calmly. "She belongs here more than you do. Hail." Clara's heart swells. Community respect. The men now look to Clara as a motherly figure. They defend her when outsiders mock. Her food becomes the heart of the camp. The foreman gives her a small cabin of her own. She decorates it with wildflowers, quilts, and light, transforming it into a home. Eli often visits to fix things or read beside her stove. Doubt creeps. And despite her growing comfort, Clara worries she's imagining Eli's affection. One evening, she overhears two men teasing him. "That big woman's got her hooks in you." Eli replies quietly, "She's worth more than you'll ever understand." Clara, hidden nearby, covers her mouth to stifle tears, not of sadness, but of gratitude. The dance at Pine Hollow local festival arrives. Clara wears her one fine dress, blue with white lace. She expects to stay on the sidelines, but Eli asks her to dance. "Don't you want one of the slimmer girls?" she teases. He smiles softly. "I asked the one I wanted." They dance under lanterns, laughter around them, and for once, she feels beautiful. A confession unspoken later that night. As they walk home through the pines, Eli says, "You know, Miss Hensley, not every man sees with his eyes first." She looks at him, breath trembling. "And how do you see?" He pauses. "With the part that doesn't change when a person does." She understands, even without the word love, it's there. 1. The fire one morning, a fire breaks out in the lumber shed. Panic spreads and supplies are lost, cabins endangered. Clara rushes to save food stores, burning her arm in the process. Eli, finding her trapped by smoke, carries her out despite his old leg injury flaring painfully. The fire is extinguished, but Eli collapses afterward, exhausted and hurt. Recovery and realization. Clara nurses him in her cabin for days. When he wakes, he sees her arm bandaged, tending to him with care. "You're the reason I'm breathing," she says softly. "And you, mine." Through their pain, their feelings deepen into certainty. They've saved each other in more ways than one. Thomas returns, again. Thomas Hale visits, claiming he wants to make things right. He proposes to Clara again, impressed by her reputation. "Seems I was wrong about what kind of woman you are," he says smugly. Eli, still recovering, overhears. Clara answers firmly, "You were wrong about what kind of man you are, too." She walks away without looking back. Eli smiles weakly from his cot, pride and love shining in his eyes. The letter torn. That night, Clara tears the old letters from Thomas into pieces and burns them in her stove. Watching the ash rise, she feels free. She looks at Eli sleeping and whispers, "My heart found its true match after all." When the proposal, when Eli recovers, he brings Clara to a clearing he's been quietly building. A small log cabin, sturdy and warm. He says shyly, "You once said you came here to build a home. I thought maybe we could build one together." He gives her a carved wooden ring he made from pine. She laughs and cries at once, saying yes through tears. Wedding in the woods, their wedding is simple. The men from the camp attend. Mrs. Dalton weeps happily, and wildflowers decorate the altar. Eli tells her, "I didn't just see you, I found myself in you." She replies, "You saw me when no one else dared to look." Life together. Months later, they live in the cabin Eli built, tending a small garden and hosting camp dinners. Clara teaches local girls to sew, and Eli writes poetry by the fire. They are not glamorous, but their home rings with laughter and belonging. Full circle, Clara receives a letter from another woman, a mail-order bride fearful of rejection. Clara writes back, "You are never too much for the heart meant to hold you. The right man will not just see you, he will recognize you." Final reflection years later, as they watch snow fall outside their window, Eli takes her hand and says, "Funny how I thought I came west for timber." Clara smiles. "And I thought I came for a husband." He leans close. "Guess we both got more than we bargained for." The fire glows, warm as the love that grew from ashes of rejection, proof that sometimes the heart's truest match is found where pride once turned away.